Hello everybody, Vicky here. I hope you are all well and things are going okay. So we're doing another project out of our basket in our hashtag one basket at a time series. Now some of these videos I've made a few weeks back and I'm talking over because a lot's happened and been going on, so you'll have to forgive me if I've already said some stuff. I should have checked my other videos. So what I'm doing here is I'm sorting out all these little tags. I think they're 2x3, and they come out of the back of a 12x12 scrapbook stack that we buy. And I found that I don't tend to get round to using the ephemera in the back, and yeah, it just basically gets ignored. So what I thought I'd do is when I must have been working with the pack that it came out of. So I've just separated them all and I'm going through punching holes in the top of them now. And I figured that if they were ready to go in our little ephemera box, they're more likely to get used. So as you can see, I feel like I'm racing. I've put the holes in the top and I'm just going to put all the eyelets, set the eyelets in them now. Like I said, if we've got these things ready to go, when we're looking for things to put into our journals or put into a Happy Mail pack, if we've got things ready, well, they get used, don't they? If they sit there waiting to be done, so I thought, you know what, I'd just pop them in a basket and waited until I had time to see to the basket. And that one's the odd one out, and I'm not quite sure where that one came from, but I believe it's a commercial also. So once I've got the eyelets set, I've gone round and I have inked every one of them because I like that look, and if they're going to be ready, they have to be ready. And then I am going to use, I think this is an old sheet that's been coffee dyed. So I'm using that as the fibre in the top of the tags. Now what I'm doing, you see the machine there, because the fabric gets quite thick when you put a knot in it up the top. I've taken to just sewing, like putting a single thickness through the eyelet holes and bringing it up and then just sewing across, pardon me, then just sewing it across the top. So basically all I'm doing here is just doing them all in one go, and I'm sort of like chain piecing, which simply means that I don't draw the thread out and start again like you just saw then I drew the thread out. I just did the two of them there to show you what I was doing. So they were all connected when they come off from the machine. So now I've got that done, I'm going around and I'm just going to put the gold, because these are very pretty, very vintagey looking, and I love the gold look around the edges of them. So I get into all sorts of mess doing this. So I got a wet one before I even begun, experience tells me. And I'm not exact with this. I don't mind little lumps and bumps and it coming across onto the piece of work. I kind of like, I guess you'd call it a real rustic look. So I'm going through there and I'm getting all those done in one go. Now these that you can see are little book plates that I got Graham to do on the CNC, and they will be available. So the four at the top, they've been made out of the manila folder, and I've embossed the top ones and sort of inked across the raised bits of the embossing and gone around the edges of them. So these book plates that you see here, you know them, we've already used paper to do the tags. So I had some more paper, so I put them on there on the book plates just to make them that little bit more interesting. And I did the gesso over it. So there are our little name plates and our little tags. And this one here is a journal card. It came out of a 12x12 as well. So it got separated from the others that I've done. I think I've done them already, I'm not sure. So I'm just tidying it up and putting the edging on it just so that it's ready to go as well. So there are a couple of bits from the scraps. And the next thing I pulled out was some strips of this pearl. It's like a pearlized, like a real shiny pearl, cream colour paper, and it's really very pretty. So I had enough. There are a couple of little doilies that I've embossed, and they look as cute as they're really quite cute. They come up lovely, and I was a bit worried about how that paper would go being embossed, but it held up really, really well. It looks great. So then from there, I decided that I would make them into tags because of their shape, and they were a bit skinny, so they were crying out to be tagged. So there's 4 of them all up. Now, as you can see, I'm just, because it's just thin paper, I'm gluing it onto a manila folder that I coffee dyed with the plastic lace that you can get, and I'm just making sure I'm put all 4 of them on a sheet of paper. So we'll have all 4 stuck together. It's sort of like, I guess it's all mass make stuff. So now that I've got all of them backed, I'm just going through and I'm just tidying up, making sure that everything's all nice and straight. So by the look of the bits of paper I've got there, this is the last one. And it's not very exciting sitting there watching someone cut. I hope that I don't get too boring for you, because I'm governed by what's in the baskets, and I really do need to get this sort of stuff sorted out. We're nearly through the first basket, and believe it or not, I did throw a couple of bits out. Now I'm just cutting these into the shapes of tags, and you've also would have noticed as we've gone along, it isn't a project where you can only use what's in the basket. It's a project where you need to use something that's in the basket, if that makes sense. So whatever project I take on, some of it in some form has to come out of the basket, which these did. So I add like the manila folder backing and all different elements and decorations. As you can see here with what I'm doing, I'm starting to decorate. These stick-on tags, postage labels, I guess. I got them in Kmart, the cheapest chips, and I didn't know how I was ever going to use them, or whatever made me think to buy them in the first place, who knows, but I did. And I've actually found that they are quite handy. I've just got a very, very thin muslin there. It's quite open, and some call it cheesecloth, and some call it muslin. And it's just a very open weave little fabric fibre. And you've seen it, I think all of us have used it a lot. So I've decided to go with the Tim Holtz people again. I thought it fitted in well with this theme, even though I did just use them in the blue tags. It's okay. I've got, of course I have, why wouldn't I? Got a tub half full of Tim Holtz's little people, and I do love them. So I'm just trying to remember that they're there, like everything else we've got, because they look very sweet when you bring them out and put them on. My biggest problem is I've got too much to choose from, and I forget what I've got. And I don't think I'm on my own with that, ladies, am I? And gents, of course. So we've just put that little girl there. I'm just cutting back the fibre just a little bit, so it's not hanging too much everywhere. I'm just sort of like fuzzing it up a little bit, fussing. I tend to fuss a bit. And then I've got some words, the Tim Holtz words, little sayings, and I've put them onto a black cardstock and put a little gold brad at the start and the finish of them. And the main reason for doing that really is that I'm gluing onto an embossed surface, so there's different levels. So I thought that if I mounted the saying on stiffer piece of cardstock, it would make it easier for sticking, and also it wouldn't bubble and look uphill and down dale, because the the embossing would show through. Sorry, my brain's going faster than what my mouth can. So what I've got here is just a Stabilo pencil, and I'm just putting a little bit of an outline, a little bit of shading down underneath her feet. That way she doesn't look like she's floating in air, just to make her look grounded. Otherwise she'll be standing there and she won't be standing on anything. And you'll see I do that with all of them. Now, if you have a look around, what you can see that I've got all the bits and pieces needed to do 4. So I went off and I collected all my little odds and ends and put them there ready to go. That way things would run smoothly. And on the 4 of them, I'm using the ruffles that you can see. That's the tags, toppers. I do believe I also went round, I inked around these, and I'm pretty sure that I did the gold, the gilding paste. I'm not sure whether I did it before or whether or not I do it after this, but this started from a few strips of shiny pearl paper. It wasn't all in one sheet, it was just in strips that's been cut off something for some reason or another. And I was sort of like getting to the stage where, Vicky, you're just being crazy. You need to throw the first thing you see out. And the first thing I saw was this paper, and I thought straight away it would look beautiful embossed. And I've used a bit of it maybe somewhere. Like I said, this is all out of sequence now. So there she's already. I don't know what I'm doing here. I just fuss and fluff a little bit. But to tell you the truth, I've been finding it very hard to sit and be in my room without a crafter buddy. So I'm just trying to work through all those emotions as well. So I haven't got many more videos done, waiting for the editing and voiceover. So I'm going to have to get over it soon and just know that she had a special life with us. So I'm just going through now, and this is also a Tim Holtz product. I'm stamping little numbers and little circles, or like a postage paid or whatever that is, little round stamp. Now, when you see me constantly pressing a stamp into the paper underneath, that's as close as I get to cleaning my stamps, if I was perfectly honest. I don't know, maybe I should be ashamed and not mention that, but there you have it. So you can see I'm just putting on something onto those little tags, labels, sorry. Use the labels as part of the cluster, and it just looked like it needed a little something. So this stamp pad, I think I've said it before, and I'll probably say it every video, it pretty well gets cracked open with everything I do. It is such a versatile. It's Field Notes, by the way, and it is really, really good. And as you can see, these tags have come together. Like, I only showed you the one putting together, but as you can see, they're a series of 4, and they all followed the same blueprint. I had a great deal of fun making these, and I think they look awesome. So that's another project from our basket, and I don't think there's too many projects left. I really don't. I think there might be a couple of pages that, rather than wasting them on something that I'm not going to like, I'll add them to basket number 2. So here we go. I'm just going to show you what they look like, and as I'm doing that, I would like to say thank you very much for popping in. Just a short little video today, and I hope you're well. Be kind to you and be kind to the person standing next to you.